What is good, Foundation Nation? Today we're going to be doing a disc review of the Dynamic Discs Fugitive. I don't know anything about this disc, to be completely honest with you, other than I really like the way it feels. So this one is actually their 10-year anniversary run, the Fusion Orbit Fugitive. We also have some in Supreme plastic on the site as well. Supreme plastic, I think, is the best feeling plastic on the market. It does come with a price tag for that though. So this is the cheaper of the two on our website currently. I don't really think they make it too much stock. Like, I haven't really ever seen like Lucid ones or just normal Fusion ones in recent years. It's one of their original flagship molds. All of them I've seen actually have a decent bit of dome, which is unusual of trilogy mids. A lot of times they don't, a lot of times they're bored flat. And this to me is like one of the closest Rock 3 or rock feeling mids in this trilogy lineup. It definitely has a bead on it, feels really good. I'm excited to see how overstable it is. I would imagine it's gonna have similar to Rock 3 kind of numbers, but there's no flight numbers on this one or on the Supreme one. So we're just gonna check it out and I'll tell you my flight numbers after I throw it. So this throw, we're just gonna try to get it out there relatively flat and see what happens.
The left-right wing there.
First off, went very far. Secondly, I think I put a little ante on it. I'll have to judge, but it felt like I kind of yanked, so I might not have come out on ante, but the last thing I told the disc was definitely get up. Pretty typical of me trying to throw flat. And it held pretty true, kind of fought down to flat, never really hyzered back, so I don't think it's gonna be drastically overstable. We'll have to see it in a few different wind scenarios, because this wind, I think, is currently a little bit left to right. Maybe right to left, I don't know. It flew like as if it was in a left to right wind, so we'll have to see as we throw it a little bit more. Definitely a 5-speed. I would probably right now go 5502 is what I'm gonna guess the flight numbers are, but we'll see as we keep throwing. All right, we're gonna throw this Fugitive into the headwind again. We're gonna put it on hyzer this time and see kind of what happens. This disc is a little bit of a mystery to me after that first throw. I don't know how stable to expect it to be, but I'm expecting a little bit of a pop-up on this hyzer, but hopefully it doesn't pop up and ride over.
It's flippy.
So that flight and this headwind tells me we're dealing with a neutral mid, a very neutral mid. It had enough integrity to still fade back so it didn't flip all the way over. Overstable mid wouldn't have popped up like that. That disc popped up, had a nice little ride. Honestly, a gorgeous flight. Nice little ride, good finish at the end. So I'm starting to think that it's more like the Rock 3s of new, not the Rock 3s of old, if that makes sense. We'll give it a few more tosses back and forth, probably just throw one into this tailwind and then see a more unique shot. Try to see what this disc is really best for, but it's a lot straighter than I expected it to be. All right, so we're gonna throw the Fugitive into the tailwind now. I'm gonna rip it on hyzer again, and I think this will be a very telling flight. If I rip it on hyzer and a tailwind and it still flips up, we got a flippy mid. But I'm expecting the tailwind will make it hold pretty true to the hyzer, because I think this is a neutral disc. I think it's a really good flyer. I think it's gonna be a neutral disc for people who like the feel of like an overstable beaded mid, but they want it to fly like it's already been beat in. I think that's what the Fugitive is. But let's rip it flat and see, or on hyzer and the tailwind and see. Yeah, I think we figured out what this disc is. It's just a true neutral mid-range. So I'm betting the reason that they don't really run it anymore is probably it overlaps too much with the Truth, but it's a lot different feel than the Truth, especially these all have like a little dome to them. So if you've never really been that big of a fan of how the Truth feels and you're looking for something that'll fly kind of similar, check out these Fugitives, especially the Fusion Orbit ones that we have here. Stamps on them are really cool. They look gorgeous. Or if you really like Supreme, you can check out the Supreme plastic as well. They're all available over at foundationdisc.com. Very solid mid-range, a lot different than what I expected. And I think it's pretty underrated because you never really hear anyone talk about it, and there's not a thing wrong with that disc. It went far, it flew straight, it was really controllable. It didn't have a lot of like turn and burn or hyzer out too early on me. It pushed really far down this field. So I really enjoyed it, and I think you probably will too.